Hello, dear students. Dr. Wang is here recording. Today, we're going to cover a new chapter. This is the very first chapter of our course. It's called Accounting in Business. And this chapter gives you a brief outlook of the entire accounting world, and it teaches you the basic principles for us to follow when we're practicing accounting. It also tells us some basic knowledge about accounting as a discipline. Here is our learning objective table. So our objectives include explain the purpose and the importance of accounting, identify the opportunities, jobs, and users of accounting, and also we're going to explore some ethical issues in the world of accounting practice, and then we will explain the GAAP, generally accepted accounting principles, and then define some basics and also learn how to apply it. And also we will learn some major activities of organization. These activities are related with operating, investing, and financing. So is accounting very important? Of course, it's very important. So what does accounting teaches us? And what do we do in accounting? So we have a lot of business activities, and these are all related with transactions. And when a transaction occur either by credit or by cash, there would have a financial effect on the company. So the accountant's job is first to identify these transactions and events. For example, did I buy 2 computers for running my software business? And then if yes, what happens to my inventory of computers? And that's called identification of a transaction and event. And then I will record my events and a transaction. I spent $2,000 to buy 2 computers, so my inventory increased by 2,000, and my cash got reduced by 2,000 because I just spent that money. So is that inventory increase a significant of my overall cash flow? The answer may be no, because I have a $1 million in my cash pocket. So, but if I only have a $2,000, then that's all the money I have. So I need to input the data, not only to input, but also I need to measure it and see what's the importance of this transaction to my entire business. And the third step is the communication. I'm going to prepare and analyze this data and then generate a financial report. And not just for inventory, not just for computers, but also for revenue, expenses, taxes, interest, so on and so forth. And accounting is an information management system that identifies, records, and communicates information about an organization business activities. All right, so what are the jobs in the accounting profession? So accounting is the basic language of business. Just like when we play computers, the basic language is Python or C++. And if we go to USA, we speak English. And if we go to China, we speak Mandarin or Cantonese or any other Chinese language. And in the world of business, we use accounting to communicate. And it's only the numbers that will be the most objective way to convey basic ideas. So you don't want to say probably, maybe, could be these kind of words. Instead, you want to give a solid information on the company's financials, like 50% debt ratio, $3,000 profit, and $6,000 expenses. This kind of information is the way we prefer to use in business. And who will be the users of the accounting information? And we have 2 groups of users. One is internal and one is external. So who are the internal users? Those internal users are basically employees of the company, and these include executives, which are the top managers of the company, like a CEO, CFO, COO, and also some media level managers that help the company run daily operations. And you also have a sales staff who do marketing plans and boost the revenue of the company. You also have a budget analyst, so who are from the treasury side that take care of the capital budgeting planning and also money receipts and payment in the future. You also have a controllers, and a controller is basically the general accountant that in charge of the information. So you have all the transaction recorded input, and then you will have it consolidated into a nice format and then disseminate it to the outside people. So who are the outside? The external users. So the external people do not necessarily belong to the company's inside circle. So these are the lenders. Lenders basically lend money to the company. Upon receiving lenders' money, the company just borrow their money and have more capital to run its operation. And you also have a shareholders who provide the capital not through lending money but through buying company shares. You also have a government who always check the business and make sure the business is legit and no crimes should be going on. And also the government also charge taxes from the company's profit. You also have consumer groups who are essential for the company to make a profit. You also have external auditors, and external auditors and internal auditors' job is basically the same. They examine the accounting of the company to make sure there's no fraud, there's no error, there's no mistake. The thing is, the internal auditors are hired by the company, and external auditors are independent companies like the Ernst and Young, the PMW and Deloitte. So these are the important external auditors on the Wall Street. And you also have customers who would also take a look at a company's accounting. So here are the jobs related with accounting profession. So you have a financial jobs. These people prepare the accounting numbers and analyze these financial statements and develop ratios. And the financial people also audit the accounting books to make sure nothing is wrong. And there's also regulatory side, like the Security Exchange Commission or SEC, which is hired by the U.S. government. It's actually a U.S. government agency, and they check the company financials on a regular basis. And there are also consulting jobs, planning jobs, and also criminal investigation jobs. On the managerial side, you can be a manager of accounting. You can conduct general accounting, taking care of the production of a general ledger. You can do cost of accounting, which will take care of the cost issues related with procurement. And you also have a budgeting, which, as I mentioned earlier, takes care of the cash receipt and payment in the future. And you also have internal auditing, which is also a examination work for accounting book. You have consulting as well. You have a controller. As I said earlier, controller is in charge of the collection, consolidation, and dissemination of accounting information. And the treasurer is in charge of financial planning and also major capital expenditures. You also have a strategist. They are in charge of planning for the future. And you can also work at the tax forces. And these tax forces are mostly hired by the government. So you can prepare, of course, the accounting books and then plan what's your best strategy to pay the least amount of a tax for a company. Or if you are working for the government, you want to charge the highest amount for the government for taxes. And you also work for a regulatory team doing investigations if the firm is conducting any wrongdoings. You can also do consulting, and you can also be a white-collar crime police to check all these criminals in this accounting profession. And there are many other related jobs. So what I want to pinpoint here is FBI investigators and also forensic accounting. So forensic accounting and FBI investors, these are both for examination of fraud in the accounting profession. And fraud is different from human mistakes or errors because frauds are intended crimes. And people want to do it, want to do the bad things, and that comes to the police. So first, we can hire a forensic accountant. Forensic accounting job is basically examine the work of the accounting book, and the FBI basically are following the crimes that could related with hidden debt or cooking books and also inflating income, these kind of things. And there are many other jobs available for accounting majors. So you have lenders, which are usually banks, consultants, analysts, traders. These are more related with the financial market. You have a directors or the top manager of the firm. You have underwriters, which is about writing loans for borrowers. You have planners and appraisers. Appraisers are basically taking care of the estimation of a value of a certain property. Like real estate appraisers, they just get a fair dollar amount for a house or for a building. All right, so here we have some practice. I want you guys to identify which of the following belongs to either external user or internal user group. So the external users are not directly involved with running the organization, and the internal users are directly involved in running the organization. So here is the answer. So, but I prefer we just go through together. Regulators are the government. The government do not get involved with the business. They just regulate the business to make sure it's on the right track. The CEO is in charge of the daily operation. Definitely, this is the insider. Shareholders, they hold shares, and the managers of the company should behave at the best interest of shareholders. The bottom line, however, is shareholders do not get involved with the daily operation. So shareholders are external users. Controller is in charge of the accounting information. So this is the information top guy. So definitely that's a insider. You also have employees. As long as the employee, no matter at an executive level or at a janitor level, these are internals. And also have external auditors. Of course, as an external, like the independent Big Four accounting companies, Ernst & Young, Deloitte. You also have a production managers. Well, these are employees, so this is internal. Well, for the non-executive employees, these are actually external users because the non-executive employees, they just work for the company. They do not run the company as the brand, as the head. So they will not be directly involved in managing or operating. They just do their own jobs. Like a janitor, they would just do the cleaning job for a company. So it is not internal users of the accounting information.